Yeah, so I do think this is a big story out of the NBA, obviously. As the Oklahoma City Thunder trade their all-star Paul George, one thing that we're finding out is the Toronto Raptors, they did try to keep Kawhi Leonard in Toronto. This thing went down to the deadline, but the Toronto Raptors just said enough is enough. That man's heart's in LA. He want to be a Clipper, a Laker, whatever. We know he don't want to be here in Toronto. He gave us a ring. We're going to let him walk. All right, so the Thunder, when they, again, Paul George, keep in mind this timeline is all in the last week. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George reportedly meet around Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. I'm guessing Sunday or Monday. After that, they agree that we want to play together. Paul George then goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder and demands a trade out on Tuesday for sure. We know it's Tuesday. He gets traded on Friday, technically Saturday morning, whatever. And with that being said, you're talking about in a matter of a week, the Thunder have had to negotiate themselves with, they're trading Paul George, right? I don't know why they decided to do it that quickly, but that's their timeline. They did it. Now, the Thunder ended up using the Clippers and Raptors as leverage for each other, right? So if Kawhi Leonard were to stay in Toronto, one thing that the Raptors considered was bringing in Paul George and Russell Westbrook. Now, what the Thunder would have wanted in return, reportedly, according to Woj, would have been Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and 4 unprotected first-round picks. That would have been the starting point for that conversation. So maybe you add a second-round pick or 2 in that equation as negotiations continue. But, I mean, they wanted Siakam, a nice young player. Siakam's a better player than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who the Thunder ended up getting from the Clippers. But that's the starting point. And Fred VanVleet's a nice young player as well. So, but then you would have been able to keep Kyle Lowry. I don't know how a Lowry-Westbrook backcourt would have worked out, but you would have had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. But you would have had to take Russell Westbrook 4 years, 170-some million. And Paul George's back contract. But I don't know how bad Toronto wanted to keep that thing together. Masai Ujiri, he's been making good moves in the past. I'm sure he'll stand by his decision and not make a desperation move like that to keep Kawhi. The Raptors thought they were negotiating with themselves. They thought they were literally just helping out the Thunder. And then we saw the Thunder ended up taking a deal from the Clippers, which included Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, 4 first-round picks unprotected, a 5th first-round pick that would be protected. You got 2 second-round picks as well in that trade. So the Thunder ended up taking that deal. The Raptors believed that they were helping the Thunder out in their negotiations with the Clippers, so they backed out and didn't want to do business. I don't know if I would have took that deal. That's a hefty price. You're bringing in a lot of money to Toronto, man. You're bringing in Russ and PG's contracts, and you would have had to sign Kawhi to the 190 max. A lot of money. And I'm not sure if that team makes sense. Like, if I'm Toronto, I want to run back my team that I just got to the finals with. I don't know if I want to add Russ and PG in that mix, especially Russ. So, but that was a thing that was talked about, right? That this is a real thing. So expect Russell Westbrook to be on the move. The Toronto thing wasn't going to work out. They wasn't going to do it. Masai Ujiri is too smart to take on that money. Anybody with eyes can see Russ is on the downside of his prime. It's a real thing. But I just think that's a fascinating news story that the Thunder were potentially going to trade PG and Russ in the same deal, the same time, to the Raptors, as the Raptors were trying to find a way to keep Kawhi Leonard. Oh my goodness. Wow, the NBA, man. This league, hashtag this league, nothing like it. We're in July, about to touch the second week in July. NFL season's about a month and a half away, college football right around the corner. We're still talking NBA basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Season about to start around Halloween. The NBA, the season that never stops. Off-season what? Off-season who? I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
Got the kids, they tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
Taliaferro.
Mr.Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro. Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr.Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV. Here with the Triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.